Let's speak to European political analyst Alexander Seale, who joins me in the studio now. And that's a really interesting meeting between Macron and Putin, isn't it? Macron clearly hoping that he can, influence Russia to play its part in Syria and reduce civilian deaths?
Exactly. What's interesting, because, as you know, Russia was excluded from the G8 in 2014. And so Macron thinks that he can maybe be a sort of diplomat or mediator.
Because the G7 talks are taking place this weekend in France, aren't they? And Russia won't be there.
Absolutely. So on the agenda is Iran, Ukraine, Syria and Libya. And Macron announced that, for example, there'll be a summit on Ukraine in Normandy with Chancellor Merkel. And Macron also said that he's worried about civilians in Idlib, as you just pointed out. And also, Vladimir Putin is a war criminal in Syria. You know, he's responsible also for deaths in Syria. He's targeting everyday hospitals and children in schools.
One of the things that President Macron is really keen to push is an end to the fighting in eastern Ukraine. And of course, the annexation of Crimea is why Russia was kicked out of the G8 in the first place. Does Macron think that it can get Russia to reinstate the Minsk ceasefire deal?
Well, the new Ukrainian president is keen to maybe shift things around. So Macron hopes that maybe things between Russia and Ukraine can maybe change, but I don't think somehow things will change. But who knows? We have to wait until the Normandy summit.
But this is quite a controversial meeting, isn't it, between Macron and Putin? Because Putin's facing accusations of oppressing human rights back home in Russia, and Macron's been criticised for inviting him over for these talks.
Absolutely, and also I just want to point out that Macron would like to work with Russia on climate change. So on that subject, Russia and France will get along with each other. But what Macron said, he said that Russia is European. I completely disagree with Emmanuel Macron, because Russia has been meddling in Western elections recently. In France, Vladimir Putin was for Marine Le Pen in 2017. And as we know, the Russians were for Brexit. So really, the international community has allowed Vladimir Putin to wreck the world, basically wreck Western democracies.
Alexander, thank you very much indeed for that. Alexander Seale.
Thank you very much.